Like an atom bomb, the fallout of Ayodhya is likely to be more far-reaching than the actual demolition itself. As yet, understandably, it's the initial trauma that has concentrated our minds. But as the weeks pass, it's time to assess how in 1993 India will experience this impact and what we can do to contain it. For if there is one thing we can be clear of, it's that December the 6th, 1992 was not the culmination so much as the beginning of a new chapter. Here to discuss and speculate about what the future holds are four leading politicians. They are, in alphabetical order, Mr. Sikandar Bakht, the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha and vice president of the BJP, Mr. George Fernandes, former Industries and Railways Minister and a leading member of the National Front Left Front Combine, Mr. Madhav Rao Sindhya, the Minister for Tourism and Civil Aviation and a future contender for Prime Minister, and Mr. Chandra Shekhar, former Prime Minister and head of the Samajwadi Janata Party. Mr. Chandra Shekhar, as we enter 1993, what would you say is the lasting impact of December 6th?
I don't know. It is very difficult for me to say anything about the impact of December 6th because as of today, it is a matter of national shame. And I don't know how long nation will take to recover from it because even today, the attitude of the people concerned with the Ayodhya affair is not very positive. It is, I am not trying to apportion blame to any one group or any one party, but the nation as a whole and the political party collectively are not responding to the calamity that has befallen to the nation. So it is very difficult for me to make a conjecture.
In your long time in politics, can you remember a moment as bad as this before?
I think the only moment that I can think of is the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. But even at that time, that was an act of one person who went mad or who was a lunatic in the words of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Here, everybody in politics has failed. And sordid affair is that the government of India has failed and the main opposition party has not been able to keep up the promise made to the people of this country, to the Parliament, to the National Integration Council and the Supreme Court. And saddest part of it is that for 6 hours, that monument was being demolished and the government of India was a passive spectator. We have no explanation.
I want very much to talk about this failure of the government, but before we do that, to what extent, Mr. Fernandes, do you think that our secularism has been damaged?
As of now, it looks that it has been damaged beyond repair.
Beyond repair?
As of now. Because you have one side which is just not prepared to admit the fact that there has been any wrong committed in Ayodhya. But I would like to make a point, taking off from what Chandrasekhar has said, and that is, in terms of the failure, when you discuss failure of various parties and so on, I do not believe that this failure is something that is related to only 6th of December. There has been a total breakdown in our politics, and this breakdown has been over these last decade and more. Since the emergency, I do not believe that we have had any serious politics. Where are the people who are today debating the issues that Ayodhya has thrown up?
Okay, we're talking a lot about failure, and much of it has to fall into your lap inevitably, Mr. Sindhya. If you had been Prime Minister, would you have trusted the BJP? Particularly when it was quite clear that they were doing almost everything to thwart the positioning of central forces in and around Ayodhya. Would you have trusted them?
Well, let me say, first of all, that that's a hypothetical question, the way you put it. Secondly, my views on the BJP are...
Well, what's wrong with hypothetical questions? Please answer.
No, I am answering it, but I'm just putting it in the right perspective. So what you asked me, in the terms in which you put it, it is a hypothetical question. And as far as my personal views on the BJP is concerned, and I think I reflect what my party also feels about it, is I think my views are very well known.
Which is you wouldn't have trusted them?
No, which is really symbolized in the statement that I did make in Lucknow about a year ago. As far as trusting them is concerned, I think that the person, it's something which comes within the purview of the Home Ministry. The Home Minister was dealing with it. There is a constitution in this country which we as a democratic party respect. And under that constitution, there was a duly elected government with a chief minister who gave an undertaking in not only the National Integration Council, let me complete. Not only to the Prime Minister and to the highest executive personality, but also to the highest court of the land. And I think that a government which was respecting the Constitution, which respects the Constitution, which is democratic in nature, probably accepted that. On hindsight, this may appear to have been maybe a mistake, but this is on hindsight.
Let's be specific. The Prime Minister made a mistake in trusting the BJP.
No, on hindsight.
On hindsight.
I'm not saying that he made a mistake. Don't put words into my mouth. What I'm saying is that public judgment, some people may feel that on hindsight this was a mistake. But you have to judge an action at the time when it took place. And as an elected government of this country, we have a duty towards the Constitution. There is a Constitution laid down. And the Prime Minister, especially the Prime Minister, his the attitudes that he has, the very democratic attitudes that he has to make sure that he abides by that Constitution.
Sure, and you're a cabinet minister, you have to make sure that you don't break ranks. But let me put it to them. Does his answer fill you with confidence?
No, I can understand the position of Madhav Raoji, but the problem is that Constitution envisages that there may be occasion when the state governments will not discharge their responsibility. And only for that occasion, a responsibility and authority has been given to the government of India to take care of the situation. It is not the question of trusting or not trusting BJP. The question is discharging your duty. I shall trust many leaders of the BJP, I tell very frankly.
Including Sikandrabad.
Including Sikandrabad, and more so, not only Sikandrabad, but I trust Atal Bihari Vajpayee more than anybody else in Parliament today, today.
But his party doesn't trust him.
No, even party, but it is not the question of trusting BJP. The question is whether I as the Prime Minister is capable of dealing with a situation or not. We cannot take excuse that we trusted a person, he betrayed, so nation was put to an affront or a shame. This is not the answer that I shall get convinced myself.
But there are differing opinions. There is also a very large section of people which do feel that the Prime Minister was correct in acting by the Constitution. And if he had taken any precipitate action, that would have been open to very, very great criticism.
Madhav Raoji, he was not acting according to the Constitution. The Constitution called upon the Prime Minister to be ready of a situation where the situation might go out of the hand of Kalyan Singh government. Leave the question of trust and distrust. If the government would have proved incapable, was there any responsibility of the government of India and the Prime Minister or not? That is the question. The Constitution envisages that in the situation of a failure of a state government, the government of India should step in order to correct the situation.
We've talked so far about the failure or the competence of the government before the 6th. Let's bring you in, Mr. Bhagat, and talk about how you think the government's handled things after the 6th. Am I right in believing that after the 6th, the government's actually boosted your party?
Primarily, I'd like to come back to your question, of course, but primarily, I have two questions to ask and answer. One is about secularism. Probably Chandrasekhar ji or George perhaps said that, or you yourself asked the question about secularism, whether secularism has been bruised badly after the 6th of December. And I say that we have not been going the secularism way from the word go. The present situation is the result of 45 years. 6th of December has not arrived all of a sudden. It is the result of compartmentalizing secularism for the last 45 years.
That's very much the point Mr. Fernandes is making as well.
That's exactly. So what I mean is there are certain obvious aberrations in our using the word secularism up till now. We have been partners in governments with known communalists who got this country divided. And nobody seems to be aware of that fact today.
You were partners in government once upon a time with Mr. Chandrasekhar.
Yes, quite right. No, I am talking...
Although he wasn't part of the government,
I am talking of the historically known communalists I am talking of those communalists who got this country divided on the basis of two-nation theory. They are very much in the polity of this country today, and they are very much right in the lap of those who claim that they are the saviors of secularism in this country.
You've moved this discussion dramatically into the sphere of communalism much earlier than I wanted to.
No.
Do you see him as a communalist?
Have I finished? Have I finished, George? I was
Well, if
wondering.
you ask me about Sikandar Bakht as a person, no. But if you ask me about his party, well, at the moment, I think the actions of the BJP are nothing but
Action. I'll come to that. The
I don't
question
think
is that
it's-
probably some of
Samir,
us...
do you see the same threat of
Sorry.
partition looming ahead of us again? I'll come back
No,
to more.
no. I believe in the inner resilience of the Indian people. I believe in an Indian tradition which has not happened just yesterday or today. It's happened over the last 5,000 years. And I believe that society, Indian society, over the years,
I'm
anyone who
relaxing.
can-
I thought that he's put a question to me. Please continue. Please continue.
I want to carry the discussion
Please
on,
continue.
that's why.
Please
No,
continue.
So, over the last 5,000 years, all Mother India has embraced all those who came to India. They've grown up as equals. They have received shelter here. And the whole society has got integrated. As a result of the integration, I don't think an artificial compartmentalization, which a particular political party is trying to achieve in India to achieve its political objectives, is really possible over the long term. Because look at the way, even from the economic angle, how the integration takes place. I mean, the glass makers and the bangle makers of Firozabad are predominantly Muslim. Let me complete now, Karan. It's you who's interrupting too often now. Let me just complete. The bangle makers.
I thought I'm totally
No,
lost.
let me just.
Really? Please go
All right,
ahead.
if I could just,
No, please
now
go
that you've asked me to come in, let me just complete my statement. You see the relationship between the bangle makers of Firozabad and those who ultimately sell those goods. It's a complete sympathetic relationship between the Hindu and the Muslim. You see the same thing in the brassware producers of Muradabad. You see the same thing in the weavers from Varanasi. And the same thing amongst the leather makers of Kanpur. So therefore, it is an integrated society over a very large number of years. And I don't think it can be dissected artificially overnight.
Okay, let me come back to you, Mr. Sikandar Bakht. There is a feeling over here that your party has awakened something that may have been slumbering, but you've let a genie out of the bottle.
Well,
Hindu assertiveness. Do you accept that, Charlie?
No, I don't. Because unfortunate is that in this country, my feeling has been that we have been applying the yardstick of communalism or secularism only on the Hindu, to which I don't agree at all. Unfortunately, you see, as far as Ayodhya is concerned, the 6th of December was a mere aberration. But from whatever we have been doing during the last 45 years, encouraging the old communalists in this country, something had to happen. And in fact, if you look at it, Ayodhya is in fact a massive protest against the re-emergence of the polity of pre-1947 which got this country divided.
No, I don't think that's right.
No, Sikandar Bakht,
Well, that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Let me make a point.
Please.
And this point goes back to 7th of August 1990, when the Mandal Commission recommendations were implemented. There was noise from the BJP. There were noises that the support of the government would be withdrawn. I went and met Lal Krishna Advani. And I told Advani ji that the direction that he was taking in terms of withdrawing support to the VP Singh government was not right. And you know Lal ji's reply? Lal ji said, George, you have left us with no alternative but take to Hindutva. In other words, if 7th of August 1990 had not taken place,
No, but
I
what's
say it
wrong
will-
with Hindu? That's
No,
the
that's-
tragedy.
So what you're saying is it
You-
was politics.
It was
No,
politics.
not what he
again,
claimed.
Absolutely.
George
accept
is
that?
only,
No, the
I'm
whole-
sorry, Karan, George is only confirming what I have said. What's wrong with Hindutva? I want to know. Hindutva is the faith and belief of the Hindu. Will you put the same question about Islam? You shouldn't.
You
Because
are a
our
Hindu
secularism
is-
will be a very weak secularism.
the whole
It
thing-
doesn't permit an individual to follow his faith.
Mr. Chandrasekhar.
The whole problem is that we are digressing from the issue. There are two things. We can go into the debate about secularism and communalism. Here is the first question you raised about the responsibility of the government. the responsibility of the government will remain always, whether there is a secular government or a communal government or a Hindu government, because even if a Hindu government is there, there are certain primary duties which the government should perform, because the protection of the life and property of the citizen is the primary duty of a government. And Kalyan Singh government has failed on that. Whether it is a secular government or communal government, under the Indian Constitution, the government has no moral, constitutional, legal right to remain.
And Kalyan Singh reacted morally.
No, yes,
when he resigned, you see,
when
he reacted morally.
He resigned, but the way the masjid was demolished, that was a matter of shame. I am not coming to communalism and secularism, but there is a feeling, not only feeling, the way BJP has been taking the issue and has been trying to divert the mind of the people from the real problems to communal frenzy or emotive issues, that is a matter which cannot be justified by anybody who has the progress and prosperity of the country in mind.
There is a very important point that Mr. Chandrasekhar
Meaning, was this, I mean, we are forgetting history.
No,
This
I
issue, just a minute, this issue has been there for the last...
No,
we could go into
no,
history all night.
no, Karanjit,
Let
let me, this is why if a mosque would have been demolished or a temple would have been demolished, you have demolished history.
No, I don't say that.
The history of more than 400 years old.
That this issue has been there right from 1936.
So are you
why was it a slumbering issue till 1986 or 50 years?
Are you trying to rewrite history?
No, I'm not finished.
Mr. Kara, he is answering his own question.
What I'm saying is...
Which is that
don't-
issue was there, but masjid was never demolished.
No.
It was
No, it's not that.
BJP government to be there to demolish that.
Okay,
No,
let me,
Chandrasekhar, that's
Mr.
not the
Bak,
point.
Mr. Bak,
No, let me
there is-
finish my point, Karan. What I was saying was that somebody, you said that BJP converted it into a communal issue. What I say is,
I have never used the word communal.
this issue came as a national controversy only in 1986.
Okay,
Nobody seems to be wanting to tell this country that who's the culprit who converted this ordinary issue into a national controversy.
Let's not let ourselves get lost in history. There is an important issue Mr. Chandrasekhar raised, which is that the BJP has, in a sense today, unleashed a genie out of the bottle. There is a mood in the country of awakened Hindu assertiveness. Can you, or should I say, do you want to put the genie back?
No, I don't think it's really, I don't even really think the genie is really and truly out of the bottle, so to speak, because militancy is something which Hinduism has never really recognized. My objection is that the BJP seems to have hijacked my religion. I'm very proud of being a Hindu, just like every Muslim should be proud of Islam, like every Christian should be proud of Christianity, and every Sikh should be proud of Guru Nanak Dev. I'm proud of being a Hindu. And
Nobody can disagree.
But my religion has been hijacked by an irresponsible mob who is masquerading in the name of Hinduism. I'm a Hindu, as I said, I'm proud to be a Hindu. I have given no letter of authority to Mr. Ashok Singhal or any other person from the BJP to be my spokesman.
I accept that.
And therefore, the majority,
He doesn't require a certificate from anybody.
I therefore believe that the majority Hindu in this country, the large majority, is still one who believes in non-violence, who believes in all the things that Hinduism stood for in
But the
over
question
5,000
I
years.
asked was, as a government, are you concerned about the mood in the country of an awakened Hindu assertiveness that many people feel
I don't
exists
think
now?
so, because this is not the real Hindu ethos. It is something which, just a minute, let me just finish. The BJP, where I fault the BJP, is that they whipped communal frenzy up in the Hindu. It's something artificial. It's something which is something which is alien to the Hindu. And it is not something which can ever survive long term.
Yes,
it has to subside. They have very
Mr.
cleverly
Fernandez,
through.
you said that secularism has possibly been irreparably damaged. Do you believe that there is an awakened Hindu assertiveness, this mood of frenzy?
Oh yes, and I am surprised that Madhav should be so complacent about it. For the reason that it is not just the awakening at one level. It is the fact that there isn't any countervailing campaign at another level where people are brought back to their senses.
I was just going to bring this up.
So,
Do you share that feeling?
No, I think that we should not be too panicky about this immediate problem that has come up. I think that in spite of all provocations in the past, Hindu ethos has never taken to violence, has never taken to things which are being propagated today. There are many aggressors who came to this country and they looted the country, they killed people, but in spite of that, Hindu did not give up their tolerance, compassion, human brotherhood. But temporarily, I think this problem has come to a point where the nation will have to pay a very heavy price. And as George says, we should be conscious about it. And not only Madhav Rao Scindia being in the Congress party or in the government of India, I shall plead Sikandar Bhagat, men like Sikandar Bhagat, who were confirmed seculars. Now he is a new convert, so he is more enthusiastic.
Oh.
Because Sikandar Bhagat, you know his political background,
Yes,
and he has been my friend. So
I want to come to Mr. Sikandar Bhagat, but you spoke about the need for countervailing measures, and Mr. Scindia agreed.
That's right.
What if you were in government? Would you be doing in 1993?
No, I don't believe the government is capable of taking any countervailing measures. My problem is that there is no politics in India today. Where are the political parties? Where are their organizations? Where is their ideology? Where are they confronting Hindutva as an ideology? Nobody is challenging Hindutva as the faith of a person. Yeah. And that is not what Advani meant when he said, you have left us with no option, but now take to Hindutva. He meant that we will now fight back with a weapon which will be an ideological weapon. Hindutva as an ideology. And we don't have an answer to that.
Do you share that?
We do, because I fully agree with you, George, that there is no countervailing campaign, shall we say, or countervailing voice, so to speak. But the real Hindu is going to stand up. He is going to object to this hijack that is taking place. And there are many scholars of Hinduism who can really convey that message, what Hindutva really stands for.
We don't know here what the real Hindu will or won't do, but what will you as a government do to produce these countervailing measures?
So this is something which is not just the sole responsibility of government. The soul of the nation has to speak. And that soul of the nation will be awakened. The conscience of the nation will be aroused.
We're speaking philosophy. What will the government do in 1993 to ensure that the tolerance and the Indian ethos
Well, I think we've
itself?
already taken, the government has already taken certain decisions the day before yesterday. I think speedy implementation of those decisions are extremely necessary to slowly start the situation normalizing, and for the majority moderate Hindu to really understand what the BJP is after, to really expose the true nature of the BJP and arouse his real Hindutva instincts.
Okay, let's put this to Mr. Sikandar Bhagat. They've taken a lot of decisions. Are you running scared?
No, I'm saying we should be grateful. I mean, they are doing wonderful things. Wonderful things. Like banning organizations, like dismissing duly elected governments. Well, if they continue, and
no, I don't think he was referring
is
to that.
Is this making you as a party and a movement stronger?
Of course it is. I mean, say, you see, he was talking about hijacking the Hindutva, etc., etc. Go to the people and find how is it that they are reacting. Unfortunately, as I'm sorry to be saying...
I'll come back to Mr. Scindia in a moment, but let's just bring them in. Mr. Bhagat says everything that this government is doing is counterproductive.
No, I tell you, confrontation does not arouse the feeling of tolerance. So any attempt of confrontation from their side or this side is not going to bring any improvement in the present situation. What I shall like to plead, that if you want to fight back Hindu communalism, you should be a little tolerant in dealing with them, and you should not put yourself into wrong.
You mean don't dismiss governments?
Don't dismiss government if it is necessary, but you should have you will have to give the reason. But unfortunate thing is that a person of Mr. Advani's stature says that this will pay our party, but this will harm the country. And he is proud of saying this. It can happen only in this country, that the leader of the opposition himself declares in the House of Lok Sabha that I know that this attitude of the government and other opposition parties is going to benefit his party, but at the cost of the country. So we expect some response from Mr. Advani also in correcting the situation.
The question is these rash actions. That is towards what? They are absolutely rash. Are they strengthening the constitution of the country by dismissing governments like this?
Just 1 minute. This is why I told that the immediate reaction of Mr. Advani and Atal Bihari Vajpayee both after the demolition was very sober. Advani was arrested and all of a sudden they took right about turn. I told Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee that was it so important? arrest of Mr. Arwani under an ordinary section of IPC, that you should change your whole attitude about Indian politics and the problem before the nation.
Meaning-
The
Let
gravity.
me pick up something you said. There's a widespread feeling which you all share that in a sense, politics has come to dominate this country. No matter whether you're BJP, Congress or wherever, you're all playing politics and the real loser is the country.
That's right.
There are no policies, there are no principles. And one of the most widespread cynical feelings outside is that ye sare neta hi hain. They just fight and
But
quarrel
it
with
is
each
not
other.
politics,
The countries.
Karan. Don't defame politics. Immediate political gains at any cost, that is not politics.
The BJP
Politics
has-
is something much more moral, much more ethical, much more...
So what you're saying,
But
There
I
are
was really
policies,
wanting
there-
to know
there are
from Chandrasekhar ji,
yes.
Karan, I just wanting to know from, what about the right about turn? I have not been able to place it right.
No, no,
No, what
Just a minute.
Mr. Fernandez,
Yes,
Mr. Fernandez.
I believe that the BJP has come to believe that Ram is going to put it in power. So no matter what you do, they will use every opportunity, whether presented by
prolong
the
the-
government or whether prevailing in the country as a result of the lack of any kind of an ideological
George,
fight back
I have
against the
probably
Isn't this the
failed.
point?
Heavy
Cynicism
costs to
has
the
taken
country,
over.
prolong the
Of
issue and
course.
keep it alive. I mean, this would be...
I don't see why anybody should have any doubt on this.
Mr.
George,
Chandrasekhar, as
I
a
wanted to know
profession,
one
as a
thing.
tribe, have
How do
India's
you
politicians let her
analyze
down?
the Congress running
No,
a
I
government
don't
in the
say
partnership
that,
of
because
Muslim
you-
League and on its own
But
conditions?
politicians
I hold
have
no
not
brief
been
for the
able to
Congress.
What do you say
Gentlemen,
about it?
gentlemen, we can't all talk together. I want to ask you, as a tribe, as a profession, given what you're talking about, the failure of there being a countervailing ethos, the failure of there being an ideology to fight Hindutva, as a tribe, have India's politicians let her down? Not individually, collectively.
Well, I think politicians today, they are more required who can stand up and speak their mind. And they are being, it is, I think, by and large, we'll have to admit that politicians are by and large being tempered by things like vote banks and their long-term and medium-term future, or something like the BJP, their short-term future. And I think a responsible political party and responsible politicians of a political party should weigh up the long-term interests of the nation. And certain things that Mr. Bhatt just talked about, certain measures that have been taken by government, there are sometimes very inconvenient periods in a government's life when it may have to take certain decisions which may not be
not worried.
entirely palatable to everyone. I mean, I know
No,
what
they
the
are not
situation, I know,
inconvenient
just a
to me
minute,
at
just a
all.
minute, I know what the situation in Bhopal was. I can't speak really about Rajasthan and Himachal Pradesh because I do not have the personal knowledge of this, but I know what was happening in Bhopal. Ministers were distributing sweets in Vallabh Bhavan. They were receiving the Kar Sevaks back at the station with garlands. Bajrang Dal was allowed to roam the streets of Bhopal, shouting loud slogans, and just a minute, terrorize everyone. Now, what basically I feel, all right, even if it's temporary, what is important is what is the message that is going down to your administration.
Exactly.
Because ultimately, if it starts affecting the administration and the bureaucrat himself is double-minded, what really do the political
Madhuraji
masters
was
want?
talking about hijacking.
This
That is
idea
the
that,
time when
he has hijacked
this
the
idea
panel
that the
today.
bureaucracy in Delhi, in league with the bureaucracy in Bhopal, is now going to be the upholder of secularism in the country is not acceptable. Politics has failed. I'm prepared to accept that position. Politicians have failed. I'm prepared to accept that position.
There are three people here who say, in one form or another, politics or politicians have failed. Do you at least accept that much?
Well, yes, in a way, because I think we have been indulging for a very, very long time in the politics of electoral arithmetic. And that is what is failing this country, and that is what has resulted in the present,
But Karan,
on
have
the
you ever
6th of
thought
December.
what type of politics you have promoted? You means media. Because any time, as Madhavrao said, a person tried to speak his mind, which was not very palatable at the moment, you people tried to decry such politics. You people always encourage the politics, which was going to be the success of tomorrow.
You can have that both ways, Mr. Chandrasekhar.
No, it is not.
Politicians wouldn't be there if they wasn't for the publicity the media gives them also.
Yes, that
But
is,
let-
and the
but
politicians,
let's not get
and
into
the
that one.
politicians who come out of publicity do these
Let
things
me-
which is
let
happening
me-
in this country.
let me ask you a simple question.
Yes.
The government has to get back on track. Will a change of prime minister help?
I don't know, because I have spoken my mind. It is not always proper to rub the old man all the time. I'm not going to say anything about this.
You're becoming a diplomat late in
No,
life.
I'm not diplomat, because any prime minister in any parliamentary democracy would have survived this calamity?
Let me put something to you, Mr. Sindhya. We have done a poll. 4 out of 5 Congress MPs in that poll say the Prime Minister is damaged or seriously damaged. 40% say that he will not finish his term. How do you respond to that?
Well, obviously, I'm meeting a different type of Congress MP because that's not my feedback. And
But do you accept that the party is concerned?
the party, I think every political party is concerned. We are, as an Indian, we are concerned. I mean, apart from just being, what is the agenda? What is this nation after? What is the BJP after? I mean, are we thinking today when the world is progressing so fast, so in such an accelerated,
We will. I want to
such an accelerated pace. No, because the BJP is taking us backwards, not
He was
forward.
talking about
let's-
hijacking. I think he has hijacked the
We have to
entire
look
panel.
forward today. What is the agenda for the nation?
Power.
What?
Let me look forward with a quick one-word answer from all of you. Are you optimistic for 1993?
As of now, no.
Mr. Chandrasekhar?
I think the people's mood will change and 1993 will have a better time.
Mr. Madhuraj Sindhya?
Yes, I think that 1993 will certainly be a good year. I think that we would get over this. I've already said that I think it's a temporary aberration. And I think that we would recover and we will normalize and we will go on to the bread and butter issues, which are what should be on the national agenda.
Mr. Sikandar Bakht, will you be in power in 1993?
Oh, I really wanted to.
But in a word.
In a word, no, I don't. I am a pessimist as things are. I'm not really very happy. And I wouldn't like to be daydreaming at all. मैं उम्मीद की एक शेर उर्दू में सुना दूं, पता नहीं आपके पैनल में मुनासिब है या नहीं, कि बाज़ औक़ात उम्मीद ज़िंदगी का बाइस बन जाती है, लेकिन उम्मीद न हो तो क्या होता है। बहुत अच्छा शेर है। हज़ार काफ़िला ज़िंदगी की तीरा शबी, वो रोशनी सी उफ़क़ के करीब क्या कहना। तो चंद्रशेखर साहब तो वो रोशनी देख रहे हैं, मैं अभी देख नहीं पा रहा हूँ।
If hopes are dupes, fears may be liars.
On that note, gentlemen, I'm afraid we've run out of time. Mr. Sikandar Bakht, Mr. Madhuraj Sindhya, Mr. Fernandes, Mr. Chandrasekhar, thank you very, very much for joining us.
Thank you, Karan.
And that brings this special